There are a lot of people out there who would seem super confident and probably have every right to be confident. You know, they have the looks, the body, the background, all of that, yet they could be some of the most insecure people. Could I have been different if I was more confident myself? Today we're going to talk about self-confidence. I know this topic is huge, so obviously one video is not going to be enough. I wanted to give you some tips first because this was actually one of the biggest issues that I personally was dealing with probably my whole entire life, and I probably still am dealing with it today. But I also realized there's actually a lot of people out there who's probably going through the same things or experiencing the same things that I am. I feel like I need to address this because if I can help anyone out there just for like a little bit, I would feel so much better about myself. So that's what we're gonna do today, because there are a lot of people out there who would seem super confident and probably have every right to be confident. You know, they have the looks, the body, the background, all of that, yet they could be some of the most insecure people I know. So I'm just gonna quickly set a background for myself for those who don't know. I'm currently 38. My relationship status is complicated. I grew up basically with my mom. She raised me by herself. My dad and my mom got divorced when I was 1. I pretty much had a lot of time to reflect on what has happened in my life, and I can't stop but think that, you know, my self-confidence played a lot into all the decisions that I made along the way. Could I have been different if I was more confident in myself? Maybe. It's as simple as, you know, for example, a job interview. It could be like not speaking up when you need to, in whether it's a friendship problem or a relationship problem. Self-confidence also affects a lot of day-to-day life events. Basically, I hope that this video can somehow benefit you to become the best version of yourself. So, here are my tips. Number 1 is minimize scrolling time. Now, I'm actually saying this to myself because I know that when I scroll through my social medias, a lot of stuff that pops onto my For You page really affect how I feel. Sometimes I don't realize it, but it's actually deeply embedded into your brain, and it kind of like jumps out at you at times without you even realizing, right? That's what social media is about. Like, people portray the best part of their life, and sometimes that picturesque image of how perfect their life is isn't actually reality. Who doesn't get a bit, you know, envious or a little bit jealous when they see, you know, all these like aesthetically color coordinated, perfectly immaculate houses with their perfect relationships, where they do like these get ready with me videos and they've got like a closet full of, you know, designer bags, shoes, clothing, and then they're putting on their like Van Cleef jewelry, and then they're finishing off a look with like a Birkin bag, and then you're like, don't get me wrong, like I want to be that girl, I do, but also it makes me go, wow, like what am I not doing to get there? Why am I not good enough to be like one of those girls? Or it makes you question everything, right? And I think that's definitely affects how you see yourself. And so I think minimizing that kind of scrolling is very beneficial. If you have to, unfollow those accounts. I'm sorry, maybe you have to mute those notifications and just kind of like focus on something else. It is so human to like compare yourself. You do it without even realizing. Sometimes you even say to yourself, you know what, good for her, I'm not even jealous, I don't care, that's not even what I want. Maybe that is true, but it still affects how you think about yourself, because there are certain situations that might happen and be like, why did I deserve that? Am I not good enough? What did I do wrong? You know, how am I not better than that person? Or why did this happen to me? And it happens a lot, especially when bad things happen to me. I always question myself and go, am I a bad person? Is that why bad things happen to me? Did I do something bad to upset the world or the gods for them to like punish me and make me and have these bad things happen to me? Like, you start to question yourself. And I think that was the biggest thing, is just don't doubt anything that happens, because I believe everything happens for a reason. So let's not make that the reason why you should be questioning your existence, basically. I've got a true story for you, okay? So I actually know a a really pretty, drop dead gorgeous friend. Let's call her Amy. She has the looks, the body, the background. She has an awesome upbringing. Her family is super loving, caring. Her family's got a really close relationship with each other. And then she meets this boy, let's call her Ben. And he's also from a really well-off family. They hit it off, you know, from the day dot, right? It was like a perfect love story. He was super sweet. She loved how thoughtful he was. You know, the way she explained him to me was like love at first sight. I was honestly expecting a wedding invitation, right? But long and behold, after I returned from US, and it was about like a month or two later, I found out they broke up, and I was like, what happened? And then after learning, you know, kind of like from both sides of point of view, I realized it's come down to a very simple thing that I probably would not have noticed, you know, years ago. But now that I've kind of, you know, grown and have experience and obviously have, you know, been through this myself, I was like, wow, it is a very clear example of how your own insecurities basically took the better of you. I don't want to say that you know, it was anybody's fault, because sometimes by no means giving any like a, you know, relationship advice, but I could tell that a lot of it came from her not being secure or her not being confident in herself that caused kind of this departure. Pretty girls are so used to people telling them that they're pretty, they're showered with compliments, but little do people know there are actually two different scenarios. Either one, because people assume that they get complimented all the time, so they just don't compliment that all. And so a pretty girl actually sometimes don't know that she's pretty because nobody tells her, because everyone assumes that she knows she's pretty. Scenario two is that a pretty girl might get compliments from everyone, but she only really needed to hear from the one person that she cares about, and she's not getting it from that person. So therefore, when Amy didn't get it from Ben, she started to question his attentions. She started to, you know, doubt whether he actually loved her. And then I think that's when it spiraled into, you know, doing or expecting irrational things, especially in such an early stage of a relationship that would have caused miscommunications or misunderstandings. And eventually, because she wasn't getting what she wanted from him and she wasn't satisfied with the behavior that she thought that he should be exerting because of those reasons, she was the one that chose to break up the relationship. And it's unfortunate that this has happened. I see that so often in a lot of these girls who are like absolutely stunning, and they just have, I would say, probably so much self-doubt and a lot of self-confidence issues, and that's what's caused this, I guess, misaligned expectations from another person. And that also reflects into, you know, your friendships, it reflects into your job, it reflects into other relationships in your life. So it's not just the one relationship that I'm talking about, it kind of affects all the factors in your life. But that was just a very clear example of how your expectations, because you think, you know, other people's boyfriends are like this, they're obsessed with their girlfriends, they call them all the time, you know, they shower them with gifts, they take them overseas, like all those, you know, expectations that you see on social media that you think is the norm is actually not. Like you see all the lovey-dovey cute couples, they do like reels together, you know, all of that stuff. It doesn't mean that, you know, that person loves that person more than your boyfriend loves you or your partner loves you. It's just that people might express love differently. Okay, so moving on to number 2 is shifting the focus to yourself. Now, we need to address this issue from the core, right? So instead of like focusing on the external problems, we need to kind of basically tackle the problem from the inside out. Like, I know it's easy to say, I'm gonna go get that boob job so I feel more confident, or I need that nose job, or I need some double eyelids. Great, you can change those external things to make you feel confident, but that is still at a superficial level. What really, I think, helps is bringing that focus back on yourself, and you have to start from the inside. One thing that I think has really helped me personally is actually being healthier. So putting healthier things in my body. So like eating healthier, having a healthier diet, lifestyle, making healthier choices. Of course, I'd love to, you know, splurge on ice cream and dessert once in a while, but I think the main focus is just on giving your body the best it can And I think that is actually really important because you have no idea what kind of wonders, what kind of changes your body go through when you're treating it better. So if you're eating cleaner and you're putting in healthier foods, you're not only losing excessive like fat in your body, but all the toxins and all like the bad things. Like for example, right? I would have perfect skin for like a period, and then all of a sudden I would break out. Sometimes it's hormonal, like it's that time of the month or whatever it is, but a lot of times I think back and I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't have had that bag of chocolate, or maybe I shouldn't have had 3 stacks of cookies with ice cream, or maybe I shouldn't have had a whole bag of potato chips, then binged on 3 cans of Coke. Like, those are all just the junk that we put in our body, and that's why it's reflected onto our skin, our mood, everything, right? So I think going the healthier route will definitely not only change your body, but it will also change your mind as well. You realize you get a clearer mind, there's less mind fog, you can focus on things better, you feel better, like your mood will change and shift, because not only does your skin clear up, it makes you feel more confident in yourself because your skin's clearer. You don't have to wear as much foundation, for example. You can probably walk out, bare skin and be more confident in your own skin. And then on top of that, being able to think clearer and, have more focus and a clearer mind on what's important in your life, you start to like worry less about the little things. I think, shifting the focus on yourself and living a more healthier lifestyle is very important. So making sure that you're getting plenty of rest, drinking enough water, doing all the healthy things that you need to do. Okay, number 3, and it's last but not least, is treat yourself. I found that was probably the most effective way from focusing on yourself, but also treating yourself. So the extra boost of endorphins, which is the hormones that your body produces when you're happy, right, is probably the best thing you could do for yourself. It's literally priceless. Whether that's, doing exercises, like going to the gym, breaking out of sweat. I've recently fell in love with Pilates because I feel like it helps with not just working out and making yourself feel better, but it adjusts your posture, makes you feel more confident. It targets the areas that I want to target without, having to do excessive amount of work on other parts. And I also play badminton and I also swim once in a while. So I think these are all good exercises that you can incorporate in your life that makes you feel better. And I always feel so much better after I exercise. Sometimes when I have a big meal, I would go and take myself out for a walk and listen to music or a podcast or call a friend on the phone and just talk to them while you're walking. I mean, like that, these are all the things that make me feel good while I'm doing something. Is when you're taking better care of yourself, not only are you doing something for yourself that makes you feel better, but it also will give you an extra boost of self-confidence, especially if you're doing things like girl maintenance, right? So I love doing things like refilling my lashes, for example, doing my nails, going getting a facial or a massage, or take myself shopping. Things that makes me feel better, like it's basically reinvesting in yourself. And when you do that, when you're investing not only time but money, but your heart and soul into investing yourself, of course you're naturally going to feel more confident in yourself because you're valuing yourself a lot more. And why wouldn't you respect or love what you value, right? So I think that also kind of plays together and it kind of like works well if you're doing it all together. Because if you think about it, if you're willing to invest that time and effort and money in yourself, then someone else will also see that. And if they don't, hey, look, no one's gonna treat you better than yourself. So you should definitely start doing that. I would recommend try to implement some of this into your life like immediately. The reason why you clicked into this video, obviously, it was meant to be. This is a long journey. I'm not expecting you to, implement this and see changes immediately. This will take time, and that is why I'm here. So I'm gonna be here on this journey with you because I am still on this journey. Even if you make one of these changes in your life, I think you will see the change and you will love that feeling and hopefully continue that on. And remember, don't compare. Always focus on yourself and treat yourself. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.